When America sneezes, Australia gets a cold. We all have a bit of PTSD from 2020. The amount of crazy things that happened, I even made a montage about. But 2024 is going to be even crazier. The idea that America every 4 years has this crisis of conscience, this almost PMS every time they have a presidential election, it's ridiculous. It's nuts. Why should the rest of the world suffer when America is just losing its marbles? Well, next year is going to be a crazy year for Australia as a result, hence the quote at the start. I'm particularly worried about what's coming around the corner because history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. We're not going to have the exact same thing happen to us in Australia like what happened in 2020, but it'll be similar. And if there's one thing I know for certain, the people that stood with me and you in 2020, they will most likely be the same people that stand together in 2024. I know that for certain. And one of the best things you can do to prepare is to build your community. As I said yesterday, it happened to be the November the 5th yesterday. I didn't realize this, but my November the 5th video, it's not only 1 year exactly from the US election, but it's also the same date in the V for Vendetta speech, where they're talking about, where he talks about remember this day, because it's basically going to be your liberation day in 1 year. I totally didn't realize that. That was a pretty cool thing. I think it was a fan pointed that out to me. But how can we prepare for next year? Well, the best thing you can do is to find people of like-minded values, whether that's people in your local community group, freedom group, people that you voted for in the election and from a freedom party, people that, during the lockdowns you supported each other. That's one of the best things you can do. I'm doing what I can to build this studio. As you can see, the link in the description, I'm fundraising currently in order to build that so that we have a home and have a hub. But on a more granular level, talking with people in your community and building that trust and building that support so that you have ways of getting food for your family. You have a bug out place. You have the ability to support each other if you need to defend each other. It's one of the best things you can do. If you're listening to this now, to the hundreds of you listening, give this a share, get it out there. A lot of people, they're not going to know what hits them in 2024. They're going to do some crazy crap. They really are. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, there's an alien invasion. We therefore have to do mail-in voting in the US. Some crazy crap like that. And it's going to be up to the free people of America to stand up against it. 2020 was the year I really got out there. And one of the things that made my content unique was that I was an Australian commentator that could explain American politics, the electoral system, the electoral college, how there wasn't an election day, it ended up turning into election quarter. That's why I'm making this studio space. That's why I want this, I'm working on it now. I'm not waiting for donations right now. I've started work on it. I'm starting to build this thing. You guys are very much welcome to join me on this journey. But we need a space because in this country, in Australia, we don't have as many billionaires and millionaires that the Americans do. As I've said many times before, our people, they're not born with a flag in their hand. They're not as patriotic. We've got to stick together as a freedom community, whether that's in elections, whether that's when the crap hits the fan, whether we can't feed each other. But more importantly, and this is probably the more controversial thing I'll say, but the more brutally honest thing. In this country, there is a conservative clique. They're the people that appear on Sky News. They're the people that are in these circles all the time. And they don't achieve anything for us. They really don't. They've been leading the conservatives, the freedom movement, for many, many years, many, many decades in some cases. And they've just achieved nothing. And the challenge I personally have with that is it's like you're occupying space. And we really need to muster the forces right now. I'm not waiting around. You know, these people, they've been letting us down, whether that's in elections, whether that's in commentary online, and I'm sick of it. I'm frankly sick of it. That's why I'm building this boat. I'm building this show, this studio space, this war room, so that we can mount tangible attacks when the UN tries to seize control, when the WHO tries to seize control, when our elections need to be fostered. Next year, the entire East Coast has elections. Like, Queensland has local elections in March, and you've got a state election in October. There are local elections in New South Wales in September. There are local elections in October in Victoria. And we've got a number of state elections like WA and South Australia coming up soon after that, and a federal election in early 2025. Guys, this takes time. This takes time to assemble a team, to get a plan together, to build the forces and muster the forces. That's what this war room is for. When was the last time you saw Graham Hood on Sky News? When was the last time you saw John Larder on Sky News? There is clearly a clique in this country of think tanks, of commentators, and they will not have certain people on. They just won't. And that means that the grassroots forces, we've got to do it ourselves. That's why I'm building this studio. I can't have anyone above me telling me what to do. I can't have anyone saying, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. I need this space, and that's pretty much why I'm talking about it. That's why I'm laying down the pipeline. Now, why am I talking about this now? Why am I not doing this early next year? Well, partly to do with when it comes to constructing things, when it comes to, you know, getting tradesmen to build a space. You may not know this. Many of you homeowners, you may know this. It's basically impossible to get tradesmen to build stuff in December. That's why I'm building it now in November. And I want this thing to be up and running in January next year. I don't want it to be, you know, February, March. This time in 2020, we saw a situation where, you know, COVID kicked off in 2019 and lockdown started in February, March. And we had no idea what hit us. I mean, me personally, I didn't get my crap together till about June, August. I want to get ahead of this. It's about being proactive. And I guess this is a message. I'm doing what I can to be proactive, to, at the level that I'm operating at, give you guys the solutions financially, getting your family together and all of that. But at the grassroots level, you guys have to be leaders in your own right. Getting your teams together, getting your family together, getting your community together, your support structure together. Be leaders. Rise up in your own right and look after each other. If you're listening to this, give this a share. Next year, if you missed the start of this video, next year, America, it's very clear. It's very clear. They're going to have a crisis of conscience. They're going to completely lose their sense of where they are, who they are, what they're doing. And that means the rest of the world is going to suffer. Get your community together. Get it strong. Get your family strong. Get them prepared. Keep an eye on what your kids are learning in school. I will do what I can to build this studio and to build this war room. Thank you, everyone that's been calling me and asking me what sort of stuff is going to be done in this space. Continue to email me. I'll continue to tell you a bit more about it. But if you can, please donate to the link in my description. I'm building this studio out. Thank you to the $5,000 you guys have already donated to it. Thank you so much. I've already started construction on this space now. But yeah, when it comes to what you guys can do in your own lives, you are the heroes that you've been waiting for. You are the heroes. And I think there's a lot of people that need to hear that. Peter Dutton's not going to save you. The Freedom Senators aren't going to save you. We've got to do this ourselves through people power, as we've done many times before. Just look at what we did in the referendum. We kicked Albo's ass. He's still butthurt that it failed. The Voice. Stick together. Give this video a share. All 300 of you listening live. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your support. And let's see what happens. I'll see you guys later. Remember, when America sneezes, Australia gets a cold. We've got to be prepared. We can't be reactive. We have to be proactive. I'll see you guys later. I love you all.